y'all doing? Mike Hines here, Way of Life Outdoor Survival. I hope y'all can hear me pretty good. This March wind is really blowing here in Kentucky. Kind of calmed down now. It's not too long before dark. Y'all, I was out messing around today. I've been trying to think what to do a video on, and you know, a lot of times in life we kind of look over the simpler things. Like I was saying, y'all, when you think about survival, there are a lot of different aspects to think about. Shelter building, starting a fire, purifying water, collecting food. And there's variation in just about everything you do. But I guess there's several ways you could do, all types of survival stuff. Several ways to start a fire, several ways to build a shelter. When it comes to harvesting food, no matter whether, you're out here setting primitive traps, fishing, hunting, survival bow, there are a lot of different ways to harvest food. But like I was saying, I think a lot of simpler ways kind of get overlooked sometimes. A lot of times, depending on your resources, depending on how much time you have, how much energy you want to put into it, there are a couple simpler things you can do. One thing, simple as this, y'all. All I done, cut a little piece of wood, whittled the bark off of it. Reason I whittled the bark off of it, just so it'd be more visible. But what I would do with this, y'all, would be a throwing stick. Small game, birds, stuff like that. If you throw this and you let it spin in this kind of motion, let's say your rabbit's sitting here, squirrel, small game, whatever, that's all you gotta do. And I know it sounds silly, sounds kind of primitive, but y'all, when you talk about survival, sometimes you gotta get primitive. Sometimes you gotta get in touch with your primal side. Primitive instincts, I guess. But this stick probably weighs maybe pound and a half, pound and a half. Throw it real good. It's plenty solid, and you could actually take down, like I said, birds, rabbit, squirrel, just about any kind of small game. And that's one way. While we're talking about throwing, throwing the stick, another thing, a lot of people overlook this, y'all. Y'all might think I'm silly, but simple as a rock. Anything probably from baseball size to softball size, whatever you're more comfortable throwing. And I know it sounds kind of far-fetched, but you wouldn't believe, the accuracy you have. I mean, you take 10, 15 yards, rabbit run by, you chuck this rock at him. Hey, if you hit him, that's all the energy you put into it. It's more feasible than you think it is. But like I said, y'all, simple as a rock. Another thing, and this is one of my favorite things probably, if I was someone in a survival situation, especially if you have predators, stuff like that, this is probably one of the first things that I would make. And I guess you'd call this a primitive spear, survival spear, whatever you want to call it. But I've already started working on this. And what I did, I just took my knife, whittled this down to a point. I cut this stick, I actually cut this yesterday afternoon, and I run out of time. But the first thing you want to do when you start looking for something like this is you want to make sure that this thing's just a little bit taller than you are. That way, if you're walking, trip and fall, you got less chance of, goring yourself or spearing yourself with it. But y'all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one end. I'm going to sharpen this end to a point too. And the main thing I'm going to do with this end would be like if there were predators, coyote, wolf, wild dog, cat, even up to, a bear probably, if this is all I had. But I'm going to sharpen this to a point. You wouldn't believe the defense you would have jobbing animal's eyes toward his face. He's not going to take much of that. I mean, I'm not going to say it'll work, but it could deter him. And anything you can do to keep a predator off of you is a good thing. Now on this end, I'm going to use this end to kind of, I guess I call it making a gig. Let me turn this other camera on, y'all, where I can get a little better view of what's going on here. But like I said, I've already worked on this, and I'm about ready to split this thing down. Let's see if this camera. Yeah, okay. Alright, y'all, you can see there, I just whittled this thing down to a point, and you see these little ridges here. What I did, I just took my knife, made a little mark in it, and just kind of peeled that like a 7 notch or an L notch, pretty much all the way around. And reason I did that, y'all, what I'm going to do, I'm going to split this 2 ways. We'll make 4 prongs, more like a fish gig, frog gig, something like that. And reason I carved those grooves in it is that way you could use this gig frogs, fish, even hold down a snake, you know, while you get a chance to cut his head off. There are all kind of ways you could use this to harvest stuff with. And you know, even this end, when we get it sharpened to a point, you know, wild pig, something like that, you could gore that thing with this and probably harvest it. But anyway, y'all, like I said, I've already carved this down, got it carved down to a point. And I'll tell y'all what, let me come up here where the other camera is. The good thing about this throwing stick, it's also going to second as a baton. But let me get this thing up here where y'all can see it better. And I'm trying to put the other end against the tree where we can kind of see what's going on. Okay. Alright. Like I said, y'all, I've already cut one end of it. I've already batoned one end of it. And now, I'm going to try to go the opposite way. Get right in the middle of that thing. Okay, now, my split's all the way back to where I stopped shaving the bark. So I'm going to quit there. That's going to make us 4 prongs, y'all. That one's not real tough, but I think that'll work. Okay? Now, the next thing we got to do is find us a couple little sticks we can cram down in here. See how I split that in 4 pieces, 2 different directions. And see if we can take a piece of wood here. What I'm going to do, I'll cram these down in here a little bit. Kind of open this thing up. Okay. Alright. But, one of the first things we're going to do, to keep this from splitting any farther down, I'm going to take and tie off. I just got some staging cord, what I call it, just some little twine, and tie that off real good. Ain't got to be nothing pretty, just a simple hard knot in it. Now we're going to wrap this a few times. And all this is going to do is help to keep this from splitting out when we drive these sticks down in here. Ties another hard knot right there. Okay. Now, I'm going to cut off just about another probably 16, 18 inches of cordage. We'll leave that a little long. The reason for that, when I get these sticks pushed down in here, I will possibly tie this off. Okay, there's one. Another little piece of stick here. And you know, even if one of these prongs breaks off or something, we'd still be okay. Okay, now I don't like that stick. I don't like that stick. I need something a little bit bigger. There we go. I laced that string. I'll show you when I get it all done here. There's what we're gonna end up with, y'all. Almost like a frog gig, fish gig. You can see how the little barbs worked out. All right. So now, all we gotta do is sharpen this end down. I don't think we need this camera, y'all. No use wasting battery. I think y'all get the general idea of what I'm doing anyway here. Okay. Alrighty. Like I said, y'all, of course y'all know I talk about the show alone all the time. Been trying to get on this show. Would love to have the opportunity to go and try to prove that I could do this. Plus, y'all, $500,000. I mean, seriously, I'd have to go if I got picked, y'all. I wouldn't have a choice. But if I was in that kind of situation where there's predators, bears, wolves, cougars, wild pigs, anything like that. Any kind of animal that's big enough that it could hurt you. And it doesn't have to be a very big animal. But I'm talking predator type situation. This is one of the first things that I would do. Let's say I got picked to go on the show alone. As soon as I got to Vancouver Island, depending on what time of day it was, of course it was late in the evening, I had to set up shelter and all that, but as soon as I had the opportunity, this is one of the first things that I would do. Like I said, y'all, not just for hunting and harvesting food, but also as a protection type thing, security. And I tell you, a lot of times just walking, packing this stick in your hand, this spear in your hand, kind of gives you a little safer feeling, you know. All right, y'all. It's not got to be as sharp as a knife or nothing, but we want a pretty good point on it. All right. There's my spear. Can you imagine being gored by that? Okay. There's my gig end of it for fishing, frogging, whatever. Now, another thing that I would do if I was in that situation is I would fire harden this. And I tell y'all what, we'll do a video on fire hardening this spear, and we'll also try to throw a throwing stick and maybe a couple rocks and see what we can come up with. We'll do that on our next video. But you know, y'all, I know I go on and on sometimes, and I get a little sidetracked, but you know, it's just because I love this stuff so much. You know, there's no way to explain the surety and peace of mind that this gives me when I go into the outdoors. You know, like I was telling y'all, I go hunting land between lakes a lot, bow hunting. I go down there and stay. I have stayed up to 30 days at a time. Really enjoy doing that kind of stuff, but you know, just knowing that you can build a shelter to protect yourself from the elements, build a fire to stay warm by, or cook you something to eat, you know, build a primitive weapon, harvest your own food. It really gives you a confidence booster when you go into the outdoors. And I hope that I'm never in the real situation where I've been stranded and have to use these skills, but if I do, I know they're there. And you know, that's like this show alone, y'all. I can't explain to y'all how much it would mean to me to get picked to go on this show. You know, I told y'all the situation with my wife. There's actually a procedure that she can do to help with her disease, and but I've got to come up with $17,000. So that's my motivation for going on this show, y'all. And I'm hoping to get, you know, to hear from them, to get picked to go. And honestly, I would feel pretty privileged just to be able to go to the, I think it's a week-long camp where you go and they test your skills and stuff like that, to see what 10 people they're going to pick to go on the show. But y'all, if I went on this show, I honestly feel like I have just as good a chance as anybody surviving. Like I said, I've had some training. Been doing this stuff since I was a kid, y'all. Growed up in the outdoors. Boy Scouts, done all kind of stuff with them. I've been on so many outdoor adventures, and you know, I love this kind of stuff, y'all. It's like, it's what makes me whole. What makes me complete, you know. But anyway, y'all, I'll quit rambling now. I just wanted to kind of show y'all what I was into today. I was kind of messing around. Had a little fire going earlier, but it went out on me time I got everything situated and got everything going. Not really cold enough. Like I said, it's March. It's probably about, I probably got up to right at 60 degrees today. It's probably about 48, 50 degrees right now. Not too bad. Of course, if I was here all night, I'd have me a fire going. But I'm not going to stay here tonight. Actually got to return to work tomorrow. Actually got a long drive home this afternoon. But anyway, y'all, I just kind of want to show you what I was into. Like I said, y'all, don't forget the simple things. You know, tap into that primitive instinct. Tap into your primal side. You know, I call it going primal. So, you know, anytime you have to be in this this kind of situation, don't forget about those primitive instincts. Don't forget how to go primal. You know, and I think that's a big thing. Like on this show, I think you have to. Of course, you're by yourself, and that wears on you mentally. I think that everybody has primitive instincts. I think it's in everybody to go out here and fend for themselves, be self-sufficient, sustain themselves. But sometimes in our modern society, we kind of forget about that stuff. But, you know, you take for granted the things that come easy. Well, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all, nothing about this easy. There's nothing about this easy, but that's what makes it fun, y'all, is the challenge of it. But anyway, y'all, I just want to tell y'all, I appreciate you watching. If you would, please like and subscribe to our videos. And we'll see y'all next time. We'll do a video on fire hardening the tip of this spear. Practice throwing this stick and this rocks and see if we couldn't harvest or something. But anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And we'll see y'all next time. A little bit more right there. A little sharper.